What's up everybody, KingGBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Great League video. In today's video, we're going to be having a look at some battles with Galarian Corsola. Big thank you to 89CGY Flames fan for sending in the battles. Flames hit 3500 ELO with this team, so if you do have access to Galarian Corsola, you might want to try this team out. And today we're going to be having a look to see just how good is this Pokemon in Open Great League. I'm not sure what the IVs are that he's using currently. I will try to find that out because with Corsola, it's quite an interesting Pokemon with IV spreads. This Pokemon's only available currently for 7km eggs, so if you don't have this Pokemon yet, that's the only way to get it currently, or of course you can do trading. As far as XL candies goes, you could use your phone swing if you've got one, or of course just try to hatch like 100 eggs of this Pokemon. Corsola is the latest pay-to-win Pokemon in this game. If you were playing during GoFest and had the premium ticket, you might have been able to get this Pokemon I believe on Incense. So I think you had to buy the premium ticket and use Incense to get this Pokemon. I believe the Johto version of Corsola is a North America regional, so I'm sure some of you have XL candy for this Pokemon. If you're going to build Corsola, definitely look towards building a higher rank Pokemon. You're definitely going to want to try to trade this Pokemon and get as low IVs as possible, get it close to level 50 as possible. Corsola picks up a lot of very hardcore meta matches like Feraligatr, Dugong, Primeape and a few other things, so like I said, do highly recommend getting the XL if possible. Once again, thank you to Flames for the battle submission. He brings in the Gator to the Wiggly. Well, the looks of things, he got a one-turn bring in and ends up getting a CMP on the Wiggly. I'll take it out. He's definitely very happy to see the end of it because Corsola, pretty terrible into Wigglytuff. Corsola is a super bulky Pokemon. It's got roughly the bulk of like a Steelix or an Azu. Very, very bulky Pokemon. This kind of reminds me of whenever they released Carbink into the game. Stinky Binky was only available for research. Super bulky Pokemon and super pay to win. The opponent comes into Drifblim here. We're going to look to build up to close to 2 moves here. I think because the opponent switched out, they did not sneak that extra move through, so we should get both of these off. We have one Nightshade for the Drifblim, one Nightshade for the Gastrodon, and we have an absolute ton of energy banged on the Feraligatr. So as long as the game does not mess up, we still have a shield as well. We might even survive a Mud Slap just about, but the opponent concedes the match and that's good games anyway. So as you can see, Flames is pushing the 3500s here. This is definitely a super strong Pokemon. We get a very interesting one in the next battle. This is somewhat of a core breaker. Depending on what sort of team it is, we probably are fine here though. You often see this paired with Talonflame, Dunsparce, things like that. They go for foul play right away. We can just no shield on the Diggersby. We just have a lot of bulk in this team, so we're not really worried about shielding this, that and everything. If the opponent goes for superpower, we can look to close to one-shot them. We're probably going to go for a Fire Punch here at the end. I still think we survive a superpower from this range, so really no need to shield this at this point. Bang, big survive, and in comes Azu. We come straight into the Gator, not wasting the energy. I think that was a good play. I do wonder if he wanted to come into Corsola there though. By the way guys, Flames, he's playing on an iPad I believe. The game is super widescreen today. I think the game looks a lot better in this sort of widescreen. And the graphics messed up. I had to like minimize the whole graphic to try to make it fit on screen. But the looks of things, I've put it down as Ice Beam. I seen Gator and I just assumed Ice Beam. But Flames is on Crunch. Crunch does make sense because it's neutral into things like Toxapex. As you can see, Gator is making its way through this Azu. You could let this go, or you could commit to a farm down. He's going to go for the sort of 2-shield farm down here, which I don't think is a bad play at all. They come back into the Malamar. We overfarm perfectly here, just before they get to the move. The opponent will make a dying foul play here, but of course I can tank it very easily. That does about, it actually done more than I expected it to be completely fair. Done about 50-60%. So I would have to assume this is definitely not an XL one. Yeah, he just messaged me back. It's 12, 11, 14 IVs on this. You can really notice the difference. These poison stings are actually noticeable. I've faced off against a few of these in GBL, and I've definitely faced off against 1 or 2 really XL ones, and it's such a noticeable difference. You're seeing moves do absolutely nothing. These are some of the worst possible IVs for Corsola, but it's still performing super well. So even if you don't get a really good one, you get a lot of breakpoints, meaning that you do a little bit more damage with your moves, which in some scenarios will be better, but I think definitely bulk is where you want to go with this Pokemon. We swap out into the Diggersby and the opponent meets the swap of Azu. This is pretty unfortunate. We need to commit to this farm down. We just about make it. I think the opponent was getting to the move there. We go for the back-to-back Hydro Cannons, and this should be basically GG's here. By the way guys, if you've made it to this point in the video, you can see it on screen. Drop a like, drop a comment, let me know what you think about Corsola. All comments and likes help out the YouTube algorithm, and if you enjoy this video, of course, subscribe. I started recording this video at 6:15 AM. Almost all of my videos I record are in the morning, and I think I sound my worst in the morning. If I record in the afternoon, I tend to have a little bit more energy for the commentary. I'm like slightly dehydrated as well, so it's a bit of a shambles when I make videos this early in the day. But anyway, we come into the Mandy. This is the one disadvantage of having Hydro Cannon, or sorry, Crunch instead of Ice Beam. Hydro Cannon does about the same in this match. You get off free Hydro Cannons in this match anyway. so not having Ice Beam is not really that much of a big deal. Like I said guys, give me your thoughts on Corsola. I think once again Niantic have kind of screwed us out of a meta Pokemon by making it pay to win. Pokemon like this should be spawning in the wild because it's going to have a massive meta impact. If you're not in the regions that have this Pokemon, or if you didn't pay for the Go Fest ticket, the only way you're really getting XL candy is by phone swinging, to be completely honest with you. I think my luck's been pretty above average, to be completely honest. I think I've hatched about 7 or 8 out of, I want to say, roughly maybe 40 eggs or something like that. I used the remainder of my Pokecoins on like a 1,000 coin box for a few incubators. The only other way to get like a good incubator bundle is by spending, I think, like 5,400 coins, which is what, like $50–60. Niantic really are just horrible. I cannot stand Niantic at this point, to be completely honest with you. I wasn't really trying to get into a Niantic round here, but they're just pretty greedy for a company that doesn't even know how to fix their game. But anyway, we're not going to hop into that too much. Corsola's here, tank and moves off the Quaggy. You can basically just outbulk a lot of things with Corsola. And the opponent here goes for good timing just before we get to the move. And we do decide to shield here, could be a Stone Edge. The opponent actually goes Aqua Tail. Kind of surprised they didn't go for the Stone Edge. Whenever you're facing off against bulky Pokemon, I feel like opponents are more likely to send the bigger move. We get the Nightshade through, the opponent lets it through as well, and they come into a Cresselia. GG's, thanks for playing at this point. I'm quite curious to see what a Moonblast would do. I think a Moonblast would near enough knock us out from here. We definitely survive a Grass Knot. Yeah, after that move goes through, I think the opponent, just concedes the match. There's not really a whole lot they can do. Corsola's one of them Pokemon where it's like, if you're using the wrong Pokemon against it, you just have to concede the match. It's kind of like if you see a Talonflame versus a Carbink or something like that. It's like one of those types of things. Corsola is just so bulky and so strong in those matchups that you sort of do have to just concede and say, you know what, you've got Corsola. GG's, thanks for playing. The opponent shields the Wigglytuff again. I think the opponent earlier played a similar way. We're seeing a lot of Wigglytuff teams at this ELO. Seems to be fairly common or fairly popular at the very least. We end up shielding the Icy Wind. I don't mind shielding the Icy Wind. The opponent's going to play it out, we can play it out as well. I think Flames is pretty happy here to get either a shield advantage or just take switch here at this stage. We go for 7 and throw here, not committing to any bad timing or anything like that. We'll get off the Scorching Sands, they will survive it I think, and they will get off a last second move. Is this a Swift, or is it, I think he's just going to let go anyway. It is a Swift. We can just farm it the whole way down. We get perfect alignment, and the opponent comes into Ape. You probably could have just banked that and swapped out, but I think this is perfectly fine as well. You can just keep the alignment with Corsola. Corsola just does not care about this thing whatsoever. This Rage Fist is only going to do about 40%, I'm going to say. This really does not do enough. Quite an interesting team with Wiggly and Ape, and then the opponent comes into a Dunsparce. So basically Flame's proving that he made the right decision by staying in with the Diggersby. Yeah, you could have saved the Diggersby for this, but then you would have been in a very awkward matchup with Corsola versus this, or of course now we have Gator versus it. The good thing is though, we have the alignment, we can make 2 Hydro Cannons. Dunsparce is not as good into Gator as you would hope it would be. This one Hydro Cannon's going to get them decently low. We definitely have to shield here. We actually might even make 2 moves. Hydro Cannons from Gator do just under 50%, I want to say like 45%. You can see that the Shadow Claws, despite being double resisted, are adding up here. This will get them into the yellow, a very deep yellow as well. They swap out, we come in here, and I think this is GG's at this point. We decide to get rid of them here before they get off another move. We are in the yellow. I think we can definitely tank a Drill Run, but we don't want to tank Rage Fist if not necessary. The opponent's going to probably make it to a move on CMP, or they just throw right before us here. This is basically Curtains. Power Gem, pretty decent move that was buffed this season. Of course we have Nightshade, which was buffed. A move that you don't really see that often. So I guess the one cool thing about Corsola here is we're able to see some of the buff moves. It's a triple buff Pokemon basically. Astonish, Nightshade and Power Gem. You know, whenever you see stuff like that, it's just no surprise, right? Niantic buffed Power Gem, they buffed Nightshade, and they buffed Astonish. They basically buffed the entire moveset of this Pokemon before it came out, and of course, the Pokemon comes out with fantastic moves whenever it's behind a paywall. Whereas, whenever you see a lot of other Pokemon get released that are for free, they never have the optimal movesets. They've done the exact same thing with Carbink. They give it the best possible moveset when it released, with Moonblast and Rock Slide. So this Pokemon's definitely being released as a deliberate sort of meta breaker. I guess the one quite interesting thing about this is, Corsola should be at the very least very neutral or very good into Aegislash. So that is one quite interesting thing, depending on what moveset that Pokemon's got. It's going to be super bulky, and I hope the way they release that Pokemon is a little bit more accessible for people. But Corsola and Aegislash, those are going to be just 2 massive meta staples, and they're going to be quite interesting to deal with. Here's a matchup that I didn't even think about. Corsola with the Power Gem for the Talonflame. We're going to go for Nightshade first. I'm not sure what the energy costs are. I'm assuming that Nightshade is a little bit cheaper. Looks like it's about 5 energy cheaper. Talonflame goes for another Fly. I think we could overfarm here, but I guess it's just whether you want to take the damage or not. Yeah, we're going to have to sort of double shield here if we want to get through this. Most likely we 1 and throw here, look to get rid of the Talonflame, and we should be in a pretty decent position anyway. I think I probably could build a Corsola at this point. I think I've got about 30 XL candy, and of course I've hatched a few, but I think I'm going to just be patient and wait for a decent one. We go for the catch and the diggers we hear. Not quite able to make it. However, unless this is a hydro pump, this is not going to knock us out. Ice beam coming in. We might even make it to 2 scorching sands, which will all but guarantee victory. Because Corsola, I think, can still take a player off at the stage. Yeah, we get the attack drop as well. I think we do make the fire punch at the very least. We actually do make it to the move. The opponent does not want us to get it off. And yeah, that should be basically GG's. Nightshade probably won't quite knock them out here at this range, so this might be kind of close. We'll be able to farm them down, or if not, they'll live on 1 HP and get off the move, but I think we're basically fine. This is getting super close here. Oh, they do make it. I think we survive, man. I think we survive. I don't think this knocks us out. I think as long as you're in the yellow health, you'll always survive a player off. From what I've heard, this has got similar bulk to Azu, right? If you're in the Azu mirror, as long as you've got somewhat decent IVs, if you're in the yellow, you survive a player off. But massive 5-0, man. 3428, he's pushing the 3500s here. Fantastic achievement, man. He gets up to 3507, that's a massive 5-0 right there. Massive congrats, and it's very cool seeing some Corsola gameplay up at those higher ELOs, but thank you very much for watching, everybody. Today's a bit of a shorter video. Once again, big shout out to a KingGBL Flames fan. Fantastic player. I've battled him a few times. I think out of 6 battles or so, 5 or 6, maybe 7, I think I've only ever beaten him once. Massive congrats, and I hope you all enjoyed the video. Drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all next time.